calling all misfits, rebels, leaders, and teachers, welcome to the one place where the only way to fit in is by standing out, where big goals are met with even bigger action, and where we talk through then tackle all things entrepreneurship. I'm your host, Kelsey, and this is the Get Shit Done podcast. Welcome to the Rebelution. I'm about to call your content out, and you are going to be shocked when I call out what I really think is keeping you from being consistent. What's keeping you from being consistent on your content is not the fact that you don't know what to post. It is not the fact that the algorithm's changing and I don't know what's trending anymore. It's not that you don't have enough time. Here's what's really going on. You aren't confident in your offers. Because the truth is, if you got 100 new clients tomorrow that were like, hell yes, perfect clients, real talk, you don't have the offerings that you love to do, and you don't have the processes in those offerings to support that demand. Which brings me to point number 2. You can't handle potential demand. Like if you blew up tomorrow, trending audio, bunch of new people follow you, they're engaged, they're excited, they want to buy your stuff, you couldn't keep up with it. Point number 3, why your content is actually inconsistent, like what's really going on, you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who you're talking to. You don't know who is sitting on the other side of this phone and why they're there. And maybe if you're really thinking about it, you have a mix of different clients that you have that you serve through different offers, and you don't have a game plan of like, who am I speaking to this month? For me, when I'm creating podcasts, I have a game plan for the year. Every month has a specific person I'm speaking to. And if you picture like a Venn diagram, there's definite overlap. There's definite overlap between who I'm speaking to right now and who I'm speaking to a month ago, but they're not always the same perfectly. But having that specificity, being able to picture a specific person, like I picture you on the other side of this. Like I have like names, I have faces, I have like specific people I picture. It helps me create content that's more impactful because I know who's listening, and I want to make sure I'm saying things that are valuable to that person who's at that level of business that they're at. And the last piece, the reason your content is shit, you don't know what to say. And notice none of that was about, oh, I need a new phone. I need a new microphone. I need a new tripod, a ring light. None of that shit really matters. And that is not what's holding you back from making consistent content. What really is you don't feel solid about your offers. You don't really have capacity for that potential demand. It kind of intimidates you. You don't know who you're talking to. And ultimately, you don't know what to say. Here's the real talk. The words matter. They matter a lot. Posting a photo, filming a reel, making a little carousel on Canva, that's easy. But if you don't know the point, if you don't know like where you're directing people to, that's the hard part. And that to me, in my Kelsey opinion, is the difference between people who are using content as a way to connect with their audience and direct them to their business, whether it's a product or a service, versus people who are posting just for the sake of posting. You know who doesn't have to do any of this stuff? Just everyday people who don't have businesses and they want to just share their lives on social media. They don't have to think twice about any of this stuff. But for us, social media is a tool. It's an opportunity to get in front of new potential people, nurture those people, connect with them, and then sell them something. That's it. Like that's really the name of the game on this platform. And the missing link in why you're really not sticking to it is this stuff. So I want to provide some solutions for you because you know me, I don't like to just bash something and then walk away. There's something you can do about it. And this should be encouraging because it could be why this has been a chronic issue for you. Maybe you're the type of business owner who goes through spurts of consistency where you feel inspired and motivated and you're sharing and you feel good about it. And then all of a sudden you lose momentum and you take a break and then you come back and then you take a break. This could be the solution that will help you stick to that consistency. Also, real talk, maybe you've outsourced marketing and you've never truly been satisfied with it and you nitpick, right? What's worked and what's not. Money is tight and you decide to let that person go. These solutions may be what could have kept that last person that you actually really liked. Just realistically, you didn't know how to lead them or you didn't know how to set expectations for marketing because you didn't know what you were doing in the first place. So I want to take all of that unknown out for you, provide a process. And then what's cool about it is you can use AI to make it more efficient. You can use outsourcing and team members to make it more efficient. You get to choose, but it all starts with this stuff. So the number one first solution, and it's funny because I just did a hot seat coaching segment not that long ago that was around this topic. Everyone thinks the issue is I just need to be more consistent. I just need to show up and post. Until you are super confident with your offers, you're always going to kind of mentally cock block yourself from doing that, right? So the first step is audit your offers. Make sure they're a hell yes. Make sure if a brand new hell yes client reached out tomorrow that you had the right offering set up, not only for that engagement, but the processes, the onboarding, the here's what you do, here's what you do, here's what you do. And even, hey, we have a call. We determine we're not a fit for this offer. Here's an automated email. I've already pre-typed that feels genuine and like I'm sending it manually, but on the back operations end of things makes things easier. Imagine if all of that was really cleaned up for you. So number one, it starts with identifying your hell yes offers, which means you may be ditching some of them, you may be refining some of them, and you may be adding new ones. Number two is this. Make sure your processes are clear. So back to that question of demand, I don't know, what is your demand? Could you handle a new client tomorrow? Could you handle 10? Do you need a month to onboard new clients? Do you need a week? Do you need just a couple of emails that they see before they come to an appointment with you? Make sure your processes are clear. And then number three, make sure you have your ideal client dialed in for the particular offer or promotion that you're running. So for me, I'm going to get real with you. This month, we're talking about Get Shit Done Club. Get Shit Done Club is free. It is a group. It's a Facebook group. We meet weekly. We do a live Zoom. It's super fun. It's great people, but there's also accountability, collaboration, all kinds of posts that happen in there. And honestly, I love it. I feel like I show up as my most authentic, true self there. And I just love the conversations we have and the collaborations that happen in there. All that to say, that's what we're promoting this month. So who am I speaking to? I'm speaking to anyone who's feeling alone. I'm speaking to the business owner who's taking messy action actively right now and wants to be alongside other people who are in that same space. I'm speaking to the person who needs that little gentle call out and nudge and reminder to keep going and do the thing. I'm speaking to the person who's busy but still has room for growth and improvement. So I'm crystal clear who's sitting on the other side of this phone for this episode. My question to you is, when you're creating content, are you? And again, it can change. Maybe you have an ideal client for your overall business. And then within that, maybe for each individual offering that you have an ideal client for that. So make sure you're really clear on what that is, because it changes, it ebbs and it flows. I ran a launch a couple months ago for Remastermind. I don't know if you know this, but Remastermind specifically for the multi-6 to multi-7 level entrepreneur. If you think of the world, a lot of people. And then if you think of people who own businesses, less people. And then if you think of business owners who have multi-6 to multi-7 in revenue, that's even less. And for Remaster, they had to be willing to come to Washington State for a retreat. That's a small sliver of people I was speaking to. But by being able to picture that specific person on the other side of the phone, it allowed me to reverse engineer. What do they need to hear? What do they need to be told? What do they need to be reminded of? What pain points are they experiencing? And then I was able to create episodes around those specific things. But that person's very different than who I'm talking to today. And of course, there's going to be people who listen to both and get value out of both, but it just allows me from the strategy side of things to be more strategic and intentional. And I really think the consistency piece just comes from lack of clarity. So my advice to you, this last piece is this: create a bank of topics that you feel like are your hell yes topics, like the hill you will die on. And make sure they align with each other. We definitely talk about money around here because money is something we talk about a lot with my clients. We talk about content around here in this way, in a systematic way, because we talk a lot about that with my clients. You're never going to see me do a deep dive on the algorithm and trending audio and whether or not hashtags are cool or not, because that's not my area of expertise. You're never going to see me debate something politically, because that's just not how I utilize my podcast or my platform. I have opinions, but that's not what I do. Could I get clickbait? Could I trigger some people and get some attention? Sure. But that's not tied to my business, and that is not aligned with the value I like to provide to people. So all that to say, have a bank of topics that you can lean on. So that question of like, what the heck do I say isn't a question anymore. I recently went to this conference, and one thing I did is I took notes. I took two types of notes. One, I took notes from the lens of attending a big event because we are going to be helping host a big event soon. And I wanted to not forget anything that I would implement into our event to make it better. So as an attendee, just little observations I made. I would have a different transition. I would communicate this. I would make sure we have printed name tags, like things like that. And then I took a second batch of notes because I'm sitting there, I'm listening to these speakers. It was more creative, and I'm sitting there inspired. And as these different sparks are going, little Kelseyisms began to pop up, little like thoughts or taglines. And I kept track of all of those. And so I created a bank of little just like phrases that I either wanted to turn into podcast episodes or future blog posts or wrap up and come back to and talk about it with my clients. But having that bank is so helpful. So when I go to like map out my podcast episodes, when I go to like plan out a course, when I go to lead a workshop, I have a starting place. I've already done the pre-work of like, these are all the Kelsey things that align. I just need to like pick which ones make sense. It's like curated for me. I think a lot of us forget that. I think what we do is we're like, it's Monday, I need to post something. We look on our phone, we find a trending audio, we make it real right then in the moment, and we're just like, yes, queen, slay. But again, remember what we said at the top, your words matter. And if you're using Instagram, if you're using TikTok, if you're using social media as a strategy in your business, it's not enough to just try to get in front of new people with no game plan and no path that you're walking them down. We have to like direct shit. And something that's just become top of mind as of late is this concept of filtering faster. And this is something that we're practicing in real time, and I would love to invite you to do too. And my favorite mentor, who doesn't even know I exist, but I really respect him and look up to him, Alex Hormozy, is doing the same in his content. Be you faster. If you only work with 7-figure business owners and you're creating content for anyone who's even thinking about starting a business, imagine how disheartening that would be if your piece of content is speaking to like, and if you're just getting started, here's where to start. They go through the funnel, they realize like they're never going to be your ideal client. What if they knew that right from the get-go? And here's what's cool. Just because he only works with 7 and 8-figure business owners doesn't mean I'm not listening to his stuff, because I can distill what he's saying. I can run it through the filter of my experience and my current reality, and I can pull nuggets from what he's saying and apply it to my current situation now. So just because he's applying his filter faster doesn't mean he's going to alienate a bunch of people who would be an ideal client. His hell yes people, even if it's premature, will stick around. And the same is for us. We are not the best solution for brand new baby business owners. We're not. We are too far in. We disrupt shit too much. However, we are perfectly positioned for someone who's experienced some level of success, that first like proof of concept. Things are working, boat's going, we're rowing. It's just not like the most optimal that it could be. We are great for that person. So of course I'm going to make content for that person. So gone are the days when I'm going to tell you whether or not to get an LLC or an S Corp. I don't want to have conversations like that anymore because I'm not coaching to that anymore. So I'm not going to talk about that anymore. And imagine it from this perspective. If I started doing trending audio and I'm just doing TikTok dances, but really you come here because you want business content, why wouldn't I just give you more business content? Is that going to appeal to less people on the internet? Yes, because the apps sell time and eyeballs, and that information is less relevant to more people. Not everyone wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody has a business. However, the people who do want that kind of content, and so they're going to find me because of that piece of content, and they're going to stick around because I'm consistent and they're getting what they expected. So all this to say, stop with the trends, stop with the hacks, stop with the spurts of momentum and then going quiet and dark. Start with really auditing your offers, making sure they're a hell yes, setting up your business for success where that demand can be handled, and then blow that shit up and start filtering faster. Really get clear on who your hell yes clients are and build content for them. I've had so many conversations where people are like, you know, I give tips and tricks and resources, but I don't work with DIY people. Then why are you giving DIY advice? Why not call out like, hey, we saved this client $50,000 today. Here's how we did it. This client's on vacation while we're redesigning their home right now. Here's how we do it. Here's a beautiful kitchen in a multi-million-dollar neighborhood. Here's how we did it. Like, be polarizing. Put that filter faster. People will discern if you're for them or for not. And if they knew faster, that means the quality of the people following you and engaging in your stuff is going to be better. And guess what? We're business owners. So that means you're more likely to convert them into sales, which is the whole freaking point anyways. I don't know about you, but I'm not here to be an influencer. I'm not. Do I have influence on people? Sure. But at the end of the day, I'm a business owner, and this podcast, this reel that is going out on Instagram is a strategic part of my business, and it has to be treated as such. I think it's time we just be honest about why content isn't consistent. And I think it's time we really come to terms with how to really solve for that problem and realize a lot of it's within here. A lot of it is us just dumping out our strategy, being clear on the strategy, making sure the processes are supportive and functional and optimal, and then sticking to it because we're excited about it and we can handle it. We can handle it. We deserve to be seen. We deserve to get those clients, and we have the room, capacity, and space to do it and do it right and do it well. Thank you so much for being here this month as we've talked a lot about Get Shit Done Club and just taking action. I really encourage you to do this, to really think through this. Look at your content mindset with a fine-tooth comb. Look at your offers. Be honest about the vulnerabilities. The algorithm is not screwing you over. The algorithm is built to get people to look at a platform because they are selling the fact that they want people to be on the platform more. We're business owners. Our goals, our KPIs, our strategies have to be different. It's time that we own up to that and be okay with that. I'd rather have one person like this video, but that person be an established business owner with big goals who's working towards achieving them than like 10 random people, 9 of which aren't even in business. So I'm ready to be polarizing. I'm ready to filter faster. I invite you to join me too. Hey, thanks for being a part of the Get Shit Done Rebelution. My hope is this episode sparked a fire in you, equipped you with some practical next steps, or inspired you to take action towards your goals. If it did, please help spread the word by sharing this episode or leaving a review on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or wherever you're tuning in. Now it's time for me to hand over the keys and let you get shit done.